Alright, ladies and gents, welcome back to another beautiful video of Animal Crossing on the Wii. But it's not being played on an actual Wii. That's funny. So, yeah, funnily enough, it's 2 hours before, but the game still sees it as the same horseshit. Like, I'm supposed to be playing this at 5 in the afternoon, but that's not what this game says. Well, that's kinda fucking horseshit. Well, might as well end the video right off here, I guess. Danny and the other credits roll. So, instead of playing that video game, I decided instead we should play different video games. Today, we're gonna be talking about Tony Hawk video games. Like, you know Tony Hawk video games, right? Tony Hawk Underground 1, Tony Hawk Underground 2, American Wasteland, Project 8, all the Tony Hawk video games. Today, we're going to be talking about the PlayStation Portable port of Underground 2, which is actually very good. It's actually like the PS2 version of Underground 2. Let's just say the PlayStation Portable version of Underground 2 is a lot better than the Game Boy Advance version of Underground 2. Let's just put it like that. This video game it's a weird port of it, and all of that. I'm gonna tell you the story about a company that made these games. They're called Neversoft. So Neversoft was a company that was well known for making the Tony Hawk video games. Their parent company is Activision. When they were a company, they went defunct back in 2014, I think, but they're behind most of Tony Hawk video games. So here is Underground 2 on the PlayStation Portable. It's almost as good as the PS2 version, but it's missing stuff like Create a Park, and there's less character customization options, I think. But other than that, it's a solid port, and for a handheld console, there's not much to be worried about as far as graphics go. And, well, alright, so here's Tony Hawk Underground 2 for the PlayStation Portable. Now let's pop this guy in and see what they cooked up back in 2006. Alright, so here is the PSP version of Underground 2, and one thing to know about it is that it looks like the PS2 version. Well, it's not like the PS2 version, but it's as good as the PS2 version. So, yeah, this video game, it kind of changes the story, what you start in a completely different place. Doesn't really look as good as the PS2 version, though. The PS2 version, of course, it's a console version, but for a handheld version of the game, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Especially for a handheld version of the game. Oh yes, I can still do the McTwist. At least it has that special move. As the freakouts, place the whistle sound, and it's got everything. It's not as good as the PS2 PS2 version, though, or the Xbox version, if they even made one for the Xbox. I know they made an Xbox version for for Under American Wasteland, but I'm not sure about Underground. Other than that, there's not that much to say about it. However, I lie to you not, Sunny Jim, when I say that I have much more to say about this port of the game. It's not bad port of the game, it's actually pretty decent port, actually, of this game. Did you know that the story mode has changed? Yeah, about this port, did you know that the story mode has changed? And that they changed a lot of other stuff. Like this map, do you remember this map from the PS2 version? Well, no, I wouldn't say I do, but maybe you do not. Well, that's because this is actually this map you started on the PSP version. Also, one thing you'll also notice is that the balancing bar meter, like, it's actually a little bit, like, weirder. Like, it's not as good as, like, the PS2 version. Like, the balancing meter thingy there is, like, a little bit, like, I don't know how to say it, but, like, it seems a little bit weirder than the PS2 version. But yeah, other than that, it's actually a pretty good ported game. It's a pretty solid port. It's actually... It's not as good as the PS2 port of the game, that's for damn sure, but I'll find a gap right there and bust my ship on a process. Yeah, you can still do some pretty cool stuff. Funnily enough, this port has Parade trick as well too, which is pretty unique. This port, it's however missing Create a Park, which again you really can't be pissy about it because after all it's you can't really be pissy about it. Yeah, since the PSP was lacking that left thumbstick, that right thumbstick, since the PSP was lacking that right thumbstick, you can't, like, change the camera. How you change the camera is you have to hold this button, the top left thing, and then use the analog stick to change where you're looking. However, funnily enough, that's only if you're on the skateboard mode. Yeah, if you get off your board and then do it, guess what? Nothing happens. Use the D-pad to move. And you can use both of them to move, but when you do it, you can't change the camera. How do you change your camera while in the walking mode? Well, I don't know, because you can't. Like, I'm holding that button down to change the camera, nothing's happening. It only works if you're on... You still have the freak out and all that, and the flip outs and stuff, and to bust my shit up and get pissy. You still have all that jazz. Other than that, it's actually not that bad port of the game. In fact, it's actually pretty good. And that's Tony Hawk Underground on the PlayStation Portable. Good for handheld console, but if it's all you have, like if you didn't have the PlayStation 2 version and if that's all you had, oh dear.